Georgia Public Broadcasting presents the 2006 Georgia High School Association's football semifinals. Funding for this program is provided in part by Georgia Electric Membership Corporations, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW Local 613, Atlanta, Wachovia, the Georgia Student Finance Commission, by viewers like you, and the Georgia High School Association, who wish to thank the Georgia Dodge dealers, State Farm, and Verizon Wireless for their support of high school sports programming on GPB.
Live from the Georgia Dome, it's the semi-final matchup of AA teams featuring the Dublin Irish and the Leavitt Lions. Dublin, the 4A champs, Leavitt, the 3 seed out of Region 6. Welcome to the Georgia Dome. Nice to have you with us. This is Game 3 of Game 10, and it promises to be a great matchup between Dublin and Leavitt. A great AA matchup. My partner, Dave Cohen, and I are set to bring you all the action. Dave, this is going to be a great one featuring some great high school athletes.
Should be an outstanding game, Tommy. First, let me say, great to be here with you. You know, you can always say you can never underestimate the importance of senior leadership. A lot of seniors on both sides of the ball game today. A lot of guys that have been here before. They've been in big ball games, and here they are back at the Georgia Dome. An exciting time for both Dublin and Leavitt.
Well, I'm looking forward to the game, not just from the senior aspect, but you have a team that's won 25 out of their last 26, and you have a dark horse, the number 3 seed out of a region, who's played their way through the last 3 weeks and deservedly here in the Dome.
Well, they really have. Again, both of these football teams know how to win. They know how to play that game on the offensive side. They know how to make big plays on the defensive side, and I think we're going to see a lot of that here today. There you see Ben Cochran, the Ben and Bryant Show. Very versatile, can pass, he can run, 13 touchdown passes. He's rushed for 5, and a very, very dangerous quarterback on the side for Dublin. Also in the backfield, Brian Wiltshire, the running back. This is a guy that can really get it done. 128 rushes, over 1,100 yards. Look at that average, almost just over 9 yards a carry to go along with 22 touchdowns.
All right, here's Coach Roger Holmes with what we can expect to see from the Dublin Irish today.
Well, offensively for us, we'll run out of multiple sets, run the wing T offense, and I think the key to our success will be our balance. We've been very balanced all year, especially in the number of carries that each kid gets and being able to throw the football and that type of thing. So that's going to be our, if we're successful offensively, that'll be the key, is how balanced we are. Defensively, we run out of the 4-3, and again, I think we've been very balanced there all year and been able to defend the run and defend the pass. And obviously, our special teams are an area that we're going to need to excel in to have a successful day here in the Georgia Dome.
Well, it's a task for the Leavitt Lions, and I'm sure they're equal to it. What do you know about Leavitt, Dave?
Well, Leavitt, again, another team loaded with seniors, guys that have been in big ball games. They know there's a lot on the line. They're playing for a lot here this afternoon. Everybody's excited about this ball game. There you see Chris Meyer at quarterback. How about this guy completing 60% of his passes, plus over 1,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. And the guy can run as well. Almost 400 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. So 2 quarterbacks in the game this afternoon, Tommy, that can beat you either through the air or on the ground.
All right, we talked to Coach Mike Muschamp, and here was his game plan for this football game.
Offensively, we base everything out of the I formation, but we'll be in a lot of different sets, split backs, a lot of shotgun and one back. We're trying to get the ball to our playmakers in open spaces if we can. We have 2 or 3 kids who've done an outstanding job for us this year. Andre Hicks is number 1, and we try and get him the ball as much as we possibly can because he has a chance to make a play anytime he touches the ball, and our quarterback, Chris Myers, done an outstanding job this year as well. Defensively, we're a 3-5, which is a little bit of a unique kind of a defense, and we do lots of stuff out of it. We're a very heavy blitz football team. We will play some man coverage as well, but we try and mix our coverages as much as we can.
And the third and important member of our team is down on the sideline. Let's go to Lisa Weiss, where all the noise is.
Big Thanks, Tommy. Well, it's been 11 years since the Levitt School has made it to the semifinals, and it's been even longer since they won it all. The last time they won a state championship game was in 1970 in football. Now, Dublin, it's been even longer since they won the pot of gold. The last time they won it was 43 years ago. Now, last year's team had high expectations to go all the way. They finished the regular season undefeated, and they set a GHSA record with most points scored during a regular season. But then they fell short, losing to Cook in the second round of the state playoffs. Now, that team has haunted these players for a year. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, their motto all year has been one word: finish.
Get ready for the kickoff. It's coming up next. Dublin and Levitt just ahead on GPB.
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
From the Georgia Dome, set to watch the Levitt Lions and the Dublin Irish. Levitt on your left in the dark jerseys. Dublin on your right as you look at your screen in the white jerseys. Jack Hall will kick it off. Deep to receive, Jamon Morris and Brian Wilcher for the Irish. These are two very good football teams. Dublin 13-0 and Levitt 11-2. Semifinal round of AA. The winner of this one plays the winner of Early County, Charlton County next week. Hall is ready. The officials are ready. Soccer kicker. Little short stubby kick taken by an up man down at the 26. Brandon Edmond back up the near sideline. Got a block and is up to the 45-yard line, where he's brought down there by Frazier Parrott.
Well, Tommy, the key play on that return, number 12, Will Griffith. Nice job with a lead block to allow him to pick up an extra 5, 6, 7 yards in that return.
All right, first down and 10 now from the 44. Ben Cochran will lead the Dublin Irish. He's 54 out of 99, as you can see. Almost 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, but more importantly, only 2 interceptions. The buck sweep to the right, blocking in front, and a gain of 5 or 6. Brian Wilcher on the carry. Up near midfield. Dublin, by the way, Dave, started with excellent field position. You pray for this. All right, up front for Dublin, Wells and Williams. Smith, Josie McCray is over the nose of the ball. In the backfield, Wilcher and Griffith are the running backs. Edmond, the tight end. Morris and Taylor are your wideouts.
And you're right, Wilcher going to get a bulk of the carries. The Ben and Brian show here for Dublin.
Little look-in pass overthrown out near the 44-yard line. Pass intended for Brandon Taylor, the wide receiver out there in one-on-one coverage. All right, defensively, Levitt lines up this way with a 3-man front. Hennigan, Stockton, and Anderson is the nose tackle. The backers, 4 of them, topping Moran, Malone, and Head. And deep in the secondary, you got Hicks, Avery, Saki, and Rollins. Third down and about 2 now. Toss sweep, first down yardage and more. The pitch is to Jamon Morris. Morris down to the 44-yard line.
Nice job running in beside the right side of that line. You know, one thing that we didn't mention in the open, Tommy, was how well the offensive and defensive lines of these two teams have played. Coaches will tell you your skilled players can be really, really good skilled players, but they've got to have really good lines to run in behind in order to be successful.
All right, Wilcher brings them up. Or rather, Cochran brings them up. Up at about the 43. It's headed downhill now. Little trap right up the middle. The give was to Thomas Barnes. Good defensive effort by that Levitt defense. Little stunning on that left-hand side over there, Dave. Excellent defensive pursuit. Andy Head made the stop.
No question, some help there from 44 Christian Anderson as well. Again, another senior. We talked about it. A lot of upperclassmen on the field for both these two teams in this big ball game. Some of them have been here before, and very, very excited to be here.
Second down and 9 for Dublin now. Headed downhill down at the 43 of Levitt. Fake and the throw to the tight end. Excellent defensive coverage down at the 32, Brandon Edmond. And the thing that Dublin does just really, Dave, that impresses you is that they not only run the ball, they throw it. They set it up with the fake inside, and then the quick pass across the middle.
Nice job getting open there by Brandon Edmond to get open for that quick pass just across the middle after there was a fake in the handoff.
Nose of the ball just outside the 30. First down, 10. Fake inside, now the give inside to the fullback to Thomas Barnes. That's the part that makes it very difficult, even here from the booth, as we have the greatest view in the world. It's hard to tell if he's going to pull it back and throw or give it to that up guy. But man, what a great quarterback and fullback exchange between Barnes and Ben Cochran.
And again, from a defensive standpoint, you've really got to be on your toes. We talked to, this is an outstanding team, whether they're going to try to put it in the air or whether they're going to keep it on the ground. So defensively, you've got to really try to key in, get that extra second of knowledge as to what direction they may go.
Wing formation. Cochran going to run the counter trap, and Lovett just shot in there past the Dublin pulling guard. Jamon Morris on the carry. Excellent defense over there. It looked like 44, Christian Anderson, was in causing problems again.
Yeah, tough to tell if it was a busted play or the fact that Lovett was just so quick to pursue defensively that it caused problems in the handoff at the point of handoff.
The rule generally when you play a wing T team is if the guard pulls, you need to follow it and something good's going to happen. Man in motion. Cochran rolling, throwing, got a man out there, breaks the tackle. 10, 5, touchdown. Jamon Morris.
Boy, the senior for Dublin, what great running ability after the catch. He actually broke one tackle and ran over one other defender in order to get to the end zone. Heads up play.
Here's another look at it. Good throw, one broken tackle, and now a collision. Touchdown. Drew Griggs will attempt point from placement. Good snap. And the kick is good. Dublin breaks on top early. 7-0. Let's take another look at the touchdown play.
There you see a beautiful pass, a bullet right in the numbers. He will turn, he gets ahead of steam, he avoids and busts right over that lone defender for Lovett that was able to get back, and it was Thomas Avery, and a clear shot to the end zone after that. You know, he had worked up such a head of steam speed-wise, and there's a lot of speed on both sides of this football that really just got over there a little bit too late, and there's nothing that he could do, and a clear shot into the end zone at that point.
The short pass always cuts down on the margin of error, too, so 7 plays, 56 yards, 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And as we like to say around football, it didn't take long.
Oh, you and I talked off air that we may have a lot of scoring here, and so far every inclination is that these two teams, and we know they can put points on the board. They've done it all season. They've done it throughout the postseason to get here to the Georgia Dome, and they're not going to let up in this ball game.
Griggs is teeing it up at the 40 to kick it away, and deep to receive for Lovett. Andre Hicks standing back near the goal line.
Tommy, one thing in 4 AA, the 4 AA championships, in the entire AA bracket, Dublin High School scored the most points of any AA school, and then you've got Lovett coming in averaging 31 points a game.
Points at a premium. Driving kick right at the goal line. Hicks on the return. Excellent coverage by Dublin down at the 17.
Nice play on special teams. They key in on the ball receiver, and everybody pursues. He was able to get up across the 15 and close to the 20.
Chris Miles comes on to lead the Lions. 109 out of 185, 1,636 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's a great ratio as well, Dave.
Oh, no question. As I said, completing just over 60% of his passes coming into this game here today at the Georgia Dome.
Meyer brings him up. Pro set, true pro set, split backfield, 2 wide receivers and a tight end. Little look-in pass, batted away at the 25-yard line. Very close coverage there. Sean Bino, the intended receiver. All right, Lovett's got Cox, Edmondson, Dunklin, Malone, and Rue up front. In the backfield, Hicks at the tail, Anderson at fullback, Kane and Kinsey. Pro set slot right, one wide receiver to the left. Chris Meyer brings him up, split backfield. Dublin in a four-man front. Going to run the trap right the middle to the tailback. Hicks got a little yardage as he came up across the 23-yard line. Dublin just jumps right up in there in that four-man front. Thomas Barnes, who also plays on offense, there on defense to make the stop. All right, Dublin's got Hall, Whittle, Josie, and Smith in that four-man front. The three backers are Griffith, Pooler, and Barnes. And in the secondary, you've got Morris, Smith, Edmond, and Wilcher. Shotgun formation. West Coast offense. Two wides. Meyer dropping the throw, looking, pressure, trying to get out of harm's way and can't. Knocked down back at the 19. Quentin Pooler on the stop.
Well, Pooler is their big defensive guy coming into the game this afternoon. 70 tackles to lead that defensive unit. Very good pursuit defense football team. And right now causing a few problems for Lovett in their first offensive possession.
All right, Michael Steele back at the 6 to kick it away. 4th down and 8. Good snap. Excellent kick. High driving kick. Fair catch. Taken back at the 46-yard line by Brandon Edmond. So it's been all we had hoped for to begin with. Both football teams showing a lot of tenacity. This is going to be a hard-hitting, hard-fought AA semifinal game.
Well, credit Dublin's defense on that first possession for Lovett, too. Kind of kept them bottled up deep in their own end. And look at the field position they're going to have on their second possession. Really just beyond midfield. I think it's spotted there at about the 47-yard line.
Well, with this Dublin high-powered offense, and they are high-powered, folks, they score a lot of points. You don't want to play field position. They don't need any assistance in that regard. Quarterback Cochran gives to the tail. Now down to the 38. Brian Wilcher goes, but I believe we're going to have an illegal formation. There's a flag on the play.
See that play a lot. It's going to be a handoff to Wilcher. Wilcher is going to then head to a side, then try to turn upfield, look for some blockers, and see what kind of yardage he can come up with.
Motion against Dublin, the call. 5-yard penalty. I tell you, Dublin does not give the defense very much time to set themselves. If you'll see, they don't take a lot of time.
Illegal motion on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards. Replay, first down.
1st and 15 now, back at the 42-yard line. Watch Dublin. They don't take a lot of time. They've got the play call. They know what they're going to run. A wing right with a slot left formation. Cochran rolls, pressure. Got a man wide open at 38-yard line. Thomas Barnes wide open down at the 36-yard line, and man, did Cochran put the ball on the money.
Again, he has really been hot today throwing that football. A little bit of a fake on the handoff to Wilcher. He'll turn, fire it upfield, fired a bullet. Had to go up. Barnes did just a little bit to pull that ball down. Nice job going up to make that catch. And again, we talk about field position. Here they are at the 35.
They're down there knocking on the door again. And the thing that's so amazing about it is he has not been contested in the backfield. Great protection by the Dublin offensive line. Cochran barks his signals. Man in motion. The quick trap to Wilcher. Got a block. Tripped up down at the 2-yard line. Excellent defense by Andy Head down there. I almost said got 6. It was close.
It was awfully close. I think everyone in the Georgia Dome thought that he was going to hit pay dirt. He just went right up the middle. Some nice holes opened up by that Dublin offensive line. It looked like a breakaway touchdown. We talked about senior leadership, and there's Andy Head, one of their leaders on the defensive unit, hustling, never giving up, making the run, and tripping up Wilcher before he could get into the end zone.
Great speed by Head because Barnes can fly.
Lovett's defense has got a lockdown here.
Here's Cochran. Man in motion. Fullback slant right off the left side. Thomas Barnes. And that's a touchdown, Dublin.
Nice mix of the pass and the run on that possession there by Dublin, Tommy. And, of course, they finish it off. They hand it off to Thomas Barnes. And Barnes really finds a nice hole at the 1-yard line, just bust right through, and they pick up another 6 points and lead it now 13-0.
All right, Drew Griggs going to kick it away from the 10. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Dublin leads it now 14-0. Let's go down to the sidelines to Lisa Weiss.
Tommy, you mentioned Drew Griggs, the place kicker. Now, what you might not know is in his sophomore year, he was in a coma for 2 months. He had a staph infection and was not expected to live, but as you see, he fought through and came out of his coma, and he was back on the gridiron in the 4th game of his junior year. Now, of course, he's a senior, and hopefully he can go out with a bang. Tommy, back to you.
So far, he's going out with a bang. 2 kicks, 2 very good kicks.
Special teams has been one of the many bright spots in that football team this season. It takes a collective unit to be successful to get this far, whether it's offense, whether it's defense, whether it's special teams. And for Dublin, it's been all positive all season.
Very much so. And the amazing thing about this football team is they just rack up points over and over and over. We'll run down a few of those scores for you that they have mounted up this year early in the year and then late in the year, even in the playoffs. Griggs, a kick, high driving kick down at about the 4-yard line. Taylor Mack on the return. Not much running room. Great kick coverage. Let's take a timeout here with a score. Dublin 14, Lovett nothing. What do you think, Dave? Halfway through the first quarter, very impressive performance by Dublin.
Well, you know, they came in with over 3,700 yards rushing on the season. They've got a very versatile quarterback in Ben Cochran, who we told you can beat you whether it's through the air or on the ground. They've done somewhat of a nice mix of pass and run, and they've had great field position so far in their first 2 offensive possessions. And Lovett had better be careful, because as lightning quick as Dublin can score, Lovett, already down 2 touchdowns, could find themselves in a little bit more precarious situation if they don't find some success in moving the ball downfield on this possession.
All right, here comes Lovett from the 15. Chris Meyer, your quarterback. Gives right up the middle. Got a block at the point of attack. Up the 18 goes Andre Hicks.
Well, Hicks on the season, 1,135 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns. He averaged almost 9 yards a carry. And that time took the handoff, tried to run in behind the right tackle, right guard, and just got tripped up. Again, great pursuit defense there by the leader on that defensive unit, Quentin Pooler.
Quentin Pooler made the stop. The gain was only 1. 2nd down and 9. Meyer looks into that 4-man front. Meyer rolling the throw, got a man out there, overshoots him up at about the 28-yard line. Dan Young, the intended receiver, over on the coverage, Rashard Smith.
Dublin ended up coming with an extra defensive lineman there, will make it really 5 across the front, adding a little bit more pressure to Lovett quarterback Chris Meyer. He ended up maybe having to rush the throw just a little bit, got the ball up a little bit too high. There was no way that Young was going to be able to come down with that ball, and good defensive pressure by the corners there for Dublin.
Meyer brings them up 3rd down and 9. Sends a man in motion. Meyer rolling, pressure. Now breaks out of harm's way, runs the little screen. Very close to a 1st down goes Andre Hicks. Very nicely done.
Well, heads-up play there by Hicks after catching the ball, turned upfield and was looking for blockers. He found number 67, Jonathan Rue, and Rue really laid a nice block to open up a little bit more of a hole to allow him to pick up, I don't know, 3 or 4 extra yards on the carry.
Dublin Lovett very patient on offense. Excellent call with the little screen. They're getting a lot of heat from that Dublin front 4. Wide receivers left and right. California formation. West Coast up to the 29-yard line. Pass completed to Dan Young. Chris Meyer to Dan Young. Here's another look at it. Looks left, throws right, dances into harm's way. Tony Smith on the stop.
Tony Smith had that play from the defensive end, read the entire way. Nice little screen there out of the flat to Young, but just wasn't able to pick up too many yards after the catch.
Meyer brings him up. Levick now moving the ball begrudgingly. Dublin defense checking off at the line of scrimmage here. Meyer fakes, throws, batted around, almost intercepted. Michael Hall got his hands up in the air. Man, did he get up.
He did, and Will Smith almost the benefactor of that. He almost came down. The problem was he jumped just a split second or two early, and as he was coming down, he wasn't able to get a hand squarely on the ball that ends up hitting the turf. But again, the defensive pressure, I think, starting to rush Meyer into making some throws that he might not ordinarily make.
Screens and slants are the only thing you can basically do against a team that's hard charging. Dublin right now, the defense is just pinning their ears back and really coming after the quarterback. Meyer looks over that four-man front, gonna fake, now got some room out there and gonna run. Meyer gonna get up to about the 34, the 35-yard line before he's knocked down by Quentin Pooler.
Well, a heads-up play, too. Everything had been running towards the right side of the field, the near side of the field. This time he decides to roll out, see if there's anything open on the left side of the field. He was able to pick up quite a chunky yardage there, but just not enough for the first down, shy by about 4 or 5 yards, and they're going to have to punt the football.
Michael Steele back at the 20 to kick it away, and Brandon Edmond deep to receive back at the 35. Just got it away. My, how close was that to being blocked? Good coverage by Lovett downfield. Return up to the 32-yard line. Brandon Edmond on the return. Tommy Moran on the tackle for Lovett. It's viewers like you that help make great local programs like these high school football games possible on Georgia Public Broadcasting. To show your support, simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and takes just 2 minutes. And thank you for supporting Georgia Public Broadcasting. Dublin now 1st and 10 at the 31. The buck sweep to the left. Look at the blocking out front at the 38. Jamon Morris on the carry. Dave, there's just 7 players in front of the ball carrier.
Well, they do. They stack it in the box, and you know pretty much what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to throw something out of the flat, or it's going to one of the 3 backs that we've seen here today. Primarily, those guys are going to try at some point to cut, try to get something out of the outside end of the field, or they're going to try to bust it up the middle. But that time, trying to cut things out on the left side of the field. Good pursuit defense there by Lovett.
Gain of about 6.5. Second and a long 3. At the 38. Same play, right side. And good pursuit by Lovett over there up at about the 43-yard line.
Awfully close, but I think he was able to pick up the first down.
Nick Stonecipher, one of the first ones there, along with Christian Anderson. And Anderson has really been right in the throes of everything. He's playing an outstanding game for Lovett. It's going to be 3rd and short, or they probably are going to measure here, obviously, yes. I tell you, you don't want to get into a field position game with Dublin. They don't really need that help, do you think?
No, not at all. And that's been proven so far here this afternoon. This is about the worst, if you want to call it, field position that they have had all season. Or I should say in the game.
Yeah, right. 42.5 first down, I would assume, yes. First down now for Dublin. Up at the 43. Wide receiver to the left. Cochran, your quarterback. True wing set with 1 wide receiver. Inside trap. The give to Wilcher. Man, running downhill. Down to the 47-yard line. Very close to another first down.
Well, we said, too, and here you see the handoff. Wilcher going to take it right up the middle. Nice job following his blockers. Barnes there trying to lead the path before they're finally able to bring him down. He averages almost 9 yards, just over 9 yards a carry.
And they're very close to another first down. And the signal from the officials, it is a first down. Down at the 48-yard line. Amazing how they just seem to just glide across this carpet.
Tommy, that's why they're 13-0 coming into this game.
Amazing. Wing, double wing formation. Man in motion. Give to the fullback. Right up the middle. Down to the 40-yard line goes Will Griffith. And they haven't given the ball much to Griffith, but he is a stalwart up front when he cuts through to lead the trap when they run that thing.
We talk about how dangerous their ground game is. Look at the versatility that they have with the number of guys that can carry the football and carry it successfully, with Wilcher and with Morris and with Barnes and with Griffith on that carry.
They spread it around nicely. Second down and about 3. Slot right. Now they're going to shift almost to a pro set. Now to a double wing. Cochran gives to the wing back. Got a block. Broke a tackle. Flag goes down. 15 down near the 12-yard line goes Jamon Morris.
Boy, an outstanding run. Broke 3 of 4 tackles. Finally, Rico Braxton able to catch up with him from behind and trip him up down around the 10-yard line. But there were flags on the field. And we'll see if this will affect Dublin on that run.
Generally, you can tell by the way the shoulder pads look whether it's against them or not. Face mask. Love it.
So a big break for Dublin.
Look at this. Great blocking. And down to the 12-yard line. There's the face mask. Whoa.
That one spun his head totally around.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
During the run, we had a personal foul, face mask on the defense. That penalty will be administered half the distance to the goal from the end of the run.
All right, first down and goal now from about the 7-yard line. Dublin 8 first downs and Lovett 2. The give is to Wilcher. Touchdown Dublin. Great blocking up front again, Dave.
Had an idea that number 5 was going to go ahead and take that. Of course he did. Found some room to cut out to the right side. Nice job following those 2 blockers right there. Cuts back inside. By that point he's got such a head of steam. There was no way they were going to stop him, and he just glides right into the end zone. Makes it a 20-0 ball game.
Drew Griggs to kick the point from placement at the 10. Cochran to hold. Good snap. And the kick's a low line drive, but it's up and good as the teams come back up the field. Dublin 21. Lovett nothing.
You know, the thing about it, Tommy, too, it looks very lopsided right now, but don't kid yourself. Lovett has the capability of putting points on the scoreboard. They've done it all season. That's why they're here. They've just got to go ahead and dig in, refocus, and focus on doing the things that they've been successful all year. Don't worry about the scoreboard right now. Worry about getting on the scoreboard and getting back into this ball game and pulling closer and closer to Dublin.
Well, you can only score 1 touchdown at a time, and that's what you really need to focus on here, is not really letting it get out of hand and just try to drive the ball, mount some sort of offensive attack when you have the ball. Of course, very short scoring drive, 68 yards, 5 plays, 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Did not take them long.
Not at all, lightning quick. We've seen that really on all 3, and that, you know, all 3 of their touchdown drives here today, just moving up and downfield with precision. Nice mixture of pass and run, a little bit heavier on the run side, but you know, they do what they do, and they do it very well.
When they throw throw short and effectively. Griggs to kick it off. And deep to receive, Andre Hicks. Back of the 9. Hicks got a block and broke it across the 30, the 40. Another break. And down to the 43.
Well, that gives the Lovett fans something to cheer about. Finally, Lovett has got some outstanding field position. They have 42 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. We just talked about it. They need something positive to happen.
All right, here it is. Hicks found him a little seam through the middle. Good fake on Griggs, the kicker, and ran out of room. 43-yard line. Excellent return. That'll get the adrenaline pumping. That'll get you back in the game.
Sure will. Sometimes all you need is one play to turn things around. As you said, get the adrenaline going and really get this offense in gear.
Meyer sends a man in motion. Gives to the tailback. That's got a sting. Jonathan Karkuff on the carry.
My goodness, what a pursuit tackle there by Will Griffith. He didn't have the ball, but a split second, all of a sudden Griffith coming in from the corner and made a blistering hit to bring that run to a quick end.
Wes Barnwell on the carry. Man, that one stings. Let's see, second down and 2-yard loss, I guess. Maybe, let's call it 11 and a half. Man in motion. 2 wide receivers. Meyer rolling to throw. Tucks and runs. And out of bounds down at about the 35. We've played one at the Georgia Dome. Dublin 21. Leavitt nothing. The amazing thing about Dublin is they jumped out to a 21-0 lead last week against Greater Atlanta Christian, a team from the same region that Leavitt plays in. Leavitt, of course, the 3 seed out of the region with Buford and Greater Atlanta Christian. So let's see if Leavitt can bounce back here, much like Greater Atlanta Christian did last week.
Well, very important, Tommy, down 21-0 for their offense to go ahead and come away with some positives. The Hicks run back has given them the best field position they have had all day. Now they've got to go ahead and put some points on the scoreboard.
3rd and 2. Key down here. Probably 2 down territory. Meyer gives to the fullback, Wes Barnell, and he's very close to a first down.
I believe that was Pilcher that came in and made that tackle, wrapped up those ankles. Not going to let him get, well, he picked up the first down, but not going to let him get much more yardage other than what he got, which was just enough to keep the football rolling.
First down, Leavitt. Down at about the 33-yard line. It's a lot easier when you're going downhill than uphill. Pro eye, 2 wide receivers. Meyer, your quarterback. Gibbs on the fullback trap. Not much there. Christian Anderson, who's also the linebacker on the other side. Not much there.
Will Griffith also got in there and pretty much stacked him up at the line. Nice strong runner, but when you're running up against 2 of the white jerseys, kind of ran up against a wall, wasn't able to really pick up too many yards there at all. Just looked like a pickup of maybe two or 3.
Yeah, Thomas Barnes on the stop. Gain of about 3. 2nd and 7. Pro set with a slot to the right. Going to send a man in motion and give once more to Barnwell. And Barnwell cracks down inside the 25-yard line. Very close to the 25. Now they're going to spot it at the 25.
So you see Leavitt starting to get into some sort of rhythm offensively, running primarily keeping the ball on the ground. And, you know, sooner or later, too, Dublin going to keep that defense on. This is the longest they've been on the field the entire ball game. So they're going to start to wear down here just a little bit. Chance for Leavitt, again, to keep the ball, keep it moving, and try to get on the board.
Meyer looking to that 4-man front. Dublin going to jump.
And now they're going to get help. They're going to get help with a penalty.
Yeah, 57. Chris Williams jumped. Got a little anxious there. Boy, I tell you what, you have to give Dublin defense the credit, man. They're not embarrassed to jump right out and get into your face, are they?
No, not at all. And, you know, throughout the regular season and into the playoffs.
The defense was in the neutral zone. Penalty is 5 yards.
Down at the 19.
Going to say into the playoffs, they were, from a ranking standpoint, one of the top defenses in the state as far as points allowed. Very, very stingy.
Very stingy. First down 10. Lovett down inside the 20 at the 19. I formation. Meyer looks over that 4-3. Gonna fake. Got some time. Throws complete. Down at about the 8-yard line. Ford Kinsey. Complete. Lovett has really gotten up off the floor here after that 21-0 shock I'm sure they got there. Let's take another look at it. Meyer fakes, turns, throws, and he's there, wide open.
Nice job by Kinsey, too. A big 6-foot senior. Set himself up nicely in the 10-yard line. He was wide open. Nice concentration on the catch. He turns, though he got hit right away, but a nice offensive possession there for Lovett.
All right, first down and goal. And Meyer now going to run the option out of that West Coast set and get inside the 5 down to about the 4.
Now, Meyer's been very smart on 2 or 3 occasions on the keeper, that time included. Nice pickup of close to 4 or 5 yards in that carry, and it's got them knocking on the door right now.
Down at the 6. Second and goal from there. Very versatile offense on the part of Lovett from several different sets and formations. A man in motion. Gonna fake. Meyer gonna roll. Gonna try to get down to the goal line. Down close to the 2. Man, he avoided a tackle back at about the 6-yard line. I think Will Griffith was the man who missed him back there.
You know, we said in the open, Tommy, that Chris Meyer, very versatile in his ability. Here you see, takes the snap, trying to look upfield. There's no open receiver. I think all along he wanted to keep that ball and run it. He had almost 550 yards rushing during the regular season, and on average, almost 4 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns.
All right, it's third and goal. Nose of the ball just outside the 2. Meyer brings him up. Power set now to the left-hand side. Meyer barks his signals, gives to Barnwell. Touchdown. Good blocking up front.
Well, we knew coming in that both the offensive lines in this game were going to kind of set the tone as to the way this game would turn out. Of course, Dublin has really had an outstanding day so far from their offensive line, and right now Lovett getting their offensive line starting to step up. They did a nice job that time opening up the hole, and for Barnes, 6 on the scoreboard. They're going to try to go ahead here with the point after.
Hall will kick. Good snap. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So Lovett rides the heels of that great kickoff return and drives it down and scores.
That's got to be a huge confidence boost for them, too, as well. Getting down early in this ball game by 3 touchdowns, and then you've really got to concentrate. You've got to go ahead and get your offense back in the field. You've got to focus in on doing the things that you have done well all season. Don't worry about the scoreboard. As we said, and that time a beautiful drive. 9 plays, 43 yards, just a little over 4 minutes. 4 minutes, 10 seconds, and a 2-yard touchdown run, Tommy.
That's the thing that's impressive is the 4 minutes and 10 seconds. You want that because all the time you have clock and you're running clock and you're scoring points. Dublin doesn't. And Dublin showed their drives last about 2.5 minutes. So you run clock, you keep Dublin off the field. And Levin got the bonus, of course, of the points. So it's 21-7 with 8:34 left in the half. Jack Hall will kick it off. Deep to receive, Wilcher and Morris for the Irish. Little pooch kick again, little short stubby thing up at about the 33. And they got a block at the corner. Edmond going to be knocked out of bounds. Flag goes down up at about the 38-yard line.
Well, he really stuck a forearm out there on that run.
Let's go down to Lisa on the sideline. Lisa?
Tommy, I don't know if you've noticed, but on Lovett's helmet are the initial CRO, and that's in memory of their former teammate, Tyler Cross. Cross, who was a captain on last year's squad, passed away this November while at the University of Texas. And he has been their motivation and inspiration this season. So the one thing they're trying to do is live up to his expectations, and that is to never give up and never to quit. Tommy, back to you.
Thanks, Lisa. Yes. penalty. Let's see.
During the run back, we had an incidental face mask on the runner. Penalty's 5 yards.
An incidental face mask on the runner. 5-yard penalty. First down now, Dublin up at the 34-yard line. Cochran brings them up. Double wing formation. Lovett jumping around, toss sweep. Blockers out in front at the corner. Wilcher can really get out there in a hurry. The thing that's amazing about Dublin, if you'll just watch them when they come out of the huddle, set in their formation, they don't give you a time to adjust on defense.
No, not at all. You know, you talked on Wilcher. Wilcher, obviously the featured back in this offense, although they've been very versatile with really running 4 different. But Wilcher kind of built low to the ground. He's got a lot of speed. When he starts to get to the outside, the defensive pursuers have really got to turn it up an extra notch speed-wise to keep up with him. He causes a lot of problems.
Wilcher, 62 yards already. Now the big fullback up the middle. Will Griffith on the carry at the 45. Gain is about 3.
Wilcher very good when he gets that ball on one of the sides out running in behind the right or the left tackle, and then you can obviously stick with your fullback. You're going to try to pound it up into the line and try to create some holes in there. Of course, we've seen Wilcher do a little bit of both today, especially on the touchdown earlier. The third touchdown of the day for Dublin was one that was right up the middle, but he's so much more effective when he runs outside as opposed to running up the middle.
Second down. There's Wilcher again, breaks a tackle. I'm sorry, Jamon Morris on the carry. It's almost like pick your poison.
Really is. I mean, they just have so many weapons on the ground, whether it's Wilcher, whether it's Morris, whether it's Barnes, and that time did a nice job running in behind left tackle, left guard. They opened up a nice hole. Here it is on replay, and the blockers just setting up a nice huge wall right there. There's nothing to do but turn it up speed-wise and head to the end zone, and that's what he did on that play. The blockers, an outstanding job on the left side of the line.
Looks like the old flying wedge from many years ago on a kickoff return. All you see is jerseys. Griggs up and good on the extra point, and Dublin leads it now 28-7.
Yeah, again, you know, very, very tough defensively to try to stop these guys. And, you know, for Lovett so far for a good bit of the first quarter, and here in the second quarter, their defense has spent a lot of time on the field. And there's so many weapons for Dublin that you know, I think it's wearing Lovett down here just a little bit.
Here's another look at the touchdown here. Look at the blockers out in front.
3 of them right there opening up a beautiful hole, a big, beautiful hole. And all he's got to do is take it to the end zone. Easiest job is just running it to the end zone. That's the only thing he's got to worry about.
I don't think he was touched. I really don't. If he was touched, it was by one of his own players. He made a nice move down at about the 30, cut back in, and then nothing but green carpet.
For Morris, his second touchdown of the afternoon, and everything's been on the ground. Barnes and Wilcher, the other 2 touchdowns for the green and yellow, or the white and yellow here this afternoon.
Griggs will kick it off. And deep to receive, Andre Hicks. One-minute drive. Didn't take long. And a fumble, and Dublin picks it up and advances it down to the 5. Andrakius Rollins. Oh, my. How much worse can it get?
Well, a very costly error there on the kickoff. And they're going to have outstanding position there for Dublin. There you see, just lost the ball. Not sure if he, well, I was going to say maybe lost it in lights, but I don't think so. Just split-second loss of concentration there. The ball just bounced off his chest to the shoulder pads, and you saw it took a huge bounce after it him. And the bounce obviously in favor of Dublin. And
Rollins picked it up and actually had his knee on the ground. That's probably why it's spotted back at the 21. Of course, no replay in high school, but when you see it, you can see it. So of course, the officials made the good call there.
Right now, Lovett defensively got to dig in and try to come up with a big stop. This would be a huge confidence boost for Lovett after the turnover if they could stop him here.
All right, Wilcher hands to the first man through, Thomas Barnes. Gain of about a yard. Look at Dublin's scoring drive. 7 plays, 56 yards, 3 plays, 53 yards, 5 plays, 68 yards, 3 plays, 66 yards.
Yeah, we know they can pass the ball, but so far they've been so effective just keeping it on the ground, mixing it up just a little bit pass and run, but primarily run. And what can you say? 4 touchdowns in lightning quickness.
You don't mind time-consuming drives because the clock's running. Wilcher rolling to throw, got a man in the end zone, in and out of his hands down there. Brandon Taylor, the intended receiver, and he was wide open. Wilcher just missed him down there.
Yeah, if he doesn't lose his footing, that's a touchdown for Dublin. Got a little bit ahead of himself, and then as far as the throw by Cochran, had to throw it, ended up throwing it just a little bit behind. I think the speed of the receiver combined with the throw obviously wasn't in great position, but also lost his footing in the end zone. If he doesn't do that, then ends up probably making a nice catch.
Right, 3rd down and long. Timeout with your score. Dublin 28, Levitt 7. We'll be back at the Dome in a moment. Well, Dave, when you take a look at it, the last thing Lovett, after the 28-7 score, that would want to happen would be the fumble, and you can't fault anybody. Those things just happen. You just have to keep turnovers at a minimum, and you have to keep thinking positive here if you're Lovett and their coaching staff.
Well, Tommy, there are some teams that you can, if you're going to go ahead and have the unfortunate scenario of turning it over, you can turn it over and you won't get burned too badly. Dublin is not one of those teams. If you turn it over, you're in trouble.
Well, you have to play error-free against this team to really have a chance because they score so quickly. It's 3rd down and 9. Wilcher brings him up, man in motion, rolling, looking to throw, got a man out there, complete, and out of bounds, down at about the 3-yard line. Brian Wilcher on the reception. He was the guy that was in motion.
Well, we've talked so much about Wilcher and his ability to run the football and what he's able to do on the ground. He's also not bad as a receiver, and that time nice concentration, stepping up, plenty of time to throw, nice spiral right there, and a great catch there by Wilcher. Lovett makes the tackle to keep him out of the end zone, but again, Dublin knocking on the door.
Yeah, and Cochran just tremendous with his play calling and with his handling of the ball. The give is to the fullback off the right-hand side, Will Griffith. And he's stacked up by that defensive line.
I think Griffith becomes now, what, the 5th different Fighting Irish to carry the ball here so far in the first half.
I'm telling you, they have really run them out there. Barnes, Wilcher, Edmond, Morris, and also has Cochran carried the ball, the quarterback? Has he run the ball yet?
I think 1 or 2.
Okay.
So, yeah, a lot of versatility, a lot of weapons on the ground to be able to pick up the yardage.
19 carries, 236 yards. Now make it 237 on 20.
Ryan Wilcher again finds the end zone. Makes it a 34-7 ball game. They were knocking on the door. All they do is hand it off to number 5. That speed turns on. Nice hole opened up by the offensive line. They've had so much success along the offensive line here today with a dominating performance. Now just wearing down Lovett's defensive line.
Griggs with the extra point. Up and good. So still 5:21 left in the first half, and Dublin's on cruise control. Here's another look at it.
There he goes, takes it, got hit once, but nice movement after the initial hit, and he's able to fall back into the end zone. They spun him around, and his momentum carried him into the end zone. So for Wilcher, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
This is a happy crowd, and with reason. Dublin leading 35-7. I don't think there's any worry in Coach Holmes on the other side over there. And, of course, Coach Muschamp on this side has really got to be encouraging his kids, you know, hang in there. Something good's going to happen.
Well, Lovett averaged 31 points a ball game coming into the postseason, so they know that they can score. Again, they proved it on that lone scoring drive that they have here in the second quarter. So they've just got to go out there and do the things that they have done and been successful at to get them to this point here in the Dome.
Griggs will kick it off. 5 plays, 21 yards, a minute 38. Sound familiar? You definitely don't need to give Dublin a short field. Griggs kicks it off. High driving kick. Down to about the 11. 9 or 10-yard return there by Max Williams, a wide receiver.
Dublin special teams, other than the Andre Hicks run back for Lovett, which gave them the field position that they needed on their lone scoring drive, Dublin really has not allowed much of anything special teams wise so far here in the first and second quarter.
Many observers statewide just kept saying you won't believe this Dublin football team until you see them. They can play with anybody. And based on what we've seen the first half this afternoon, they have been very impressive.
They have. I'm convinced, Tommy.
Dublin 237, Lovett 60. That tells the story. Meyer hands to the first man through up at the 22-yard line. Dublin swarming on defense. Christian Anderson on the carry.
Not a whole lot there. Again, Dublin defensively, that defensive line has been on key all season, and they come in here riding a huge high. Fewest points allowed in their region, and a very, very difficult defense, not only to move the ball against, but to score against.
4-3 set by Dublin. Meyer gives to his halfback Hicks. He gets a little yardage up across the 25 to the 28. Gain of about 6 or 7 on the play. The Dublin defense is almost a carbon copy of the offense. They're relentless. They're just nonstop. They just really just pin their ears back and come toward the other team. They play lights out on both sides of the ball. 3rd down and about 3. Pro set. 2 wides to the left, 1 to the top of your screen. Meyer gonna fake and run the draw. Gets the first down up at about the 35-yard line.
Meyer's been successful a couple of times tonight running the football. Nice mix there of Meyer and Hicks, the 2 featured guys in their offense. And they're going to have a lot more of that in order to fight their way back into this ball game.
First down now up at about the 34.5 for Lovett. They need to run clock here and try to get in the end zone once more. Meyer sends a man in motion. Rolls, looking to throw. Pressure down at the 30. Ooh. Michael Hall, Tony Smith. That one's got a sting.
Well, Wilcher was in on that tackle as well. Basically, he found himself in what we'll call the Bermuda Triangle right there. He rolled out, was looking for a receiver. You've only got so long, and he heads into the flat right there, and there's 3 yellow helmets right there to make the hit.
Man, what a hit there. 5-yard loss. 2nd down now and long. Meyer looking, throws the screen. Got some room out there. Up around the 44, the 45 to Matt Henderson. And as we said, that's basically the only way you're going to attack this Dublin defense. And to really get them off of the swarm is the screen.
Henderson, a 5'9" senior, just waits. Nice little dump off pass in the flat there. Just turns, follows a couple of blockers, and gets it up across the 40, close to the 45-yard line.
And there to make the stop once more, Brian Wilcher. He plays both sides of the ball very well. 3rd down and short yardage. High formation. gives to Hicks, the tailback. And you could really see that coming. You could see the Dublin defense just really creeping up.
Well, they read that play nicely. It was Rollins that came in from the left side, had a great read on it. The handoff went to Andre Hicks, and there just wasn't a whole lot of time to get anything going. Look at all of those white jerseys there, gang tackling Hicks basically a second after he took the ball in the handoff.
Rollins on the initial stop. 4th down and about 3. And Lovett now is going to talk this over. This is the AA semifinal game. The winner of this one plays the winner of Early County, Charlton County, a game which will come up tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock here on GPB. Dave, Dublin, everything it's advertised to be. Earlier today, we talked to Coach Holmes and asked him what was special about this football team.
Well, I've been really pleased with the way our young men have bounced back after last year's disappointing loss in the second round. We stubbed our toe there. We've had kind of a dominating year and lost to a quality Cook County team there in the second round of the state playoffs. And they've come back this year with big goals and a great work ethic, and it's paid off for us to this point to get us here.
This is a very good football team. There's no other way to look at it, Dave.
Yeah, no question at all about that. Dublin proving themselves out here this afternoon.
4th down and 3. Meyer going to run the draw, and he's going to be a little short. A game effort, but he got tripped up. Looked like Tony Smith reached in and grabbed him down there. But if you're Levitt and you're down 35-7, you have to do something.
Well, you got to mix it up a little bit. That's why I liked the pass a little while ago, a few plays ago, that they threw to Henderson. Mix it up a little bit. Throw the defense off a little bit. They've not had success on the ground trying to run into the defensive line of Dublin. So try to mix it up a little. Throw out on the flat. Try to run to the outside a little bit. Just try to keep Dublin defensively off guard. They seem to really know what's coming.
1st down 10 Dublin, down at the 42 of Levitt. A minute 34 left and a half. Wing T, man in motion. Give on the counter dive to Wilcher. And Wilcher is yanked down at about the 39-yard line. Christian Anderson, one of the first ones in there, the linebacker. And here's Dublin in their hurry-up offense. They really are relentless. Now Cochran going to throw the little pass out in the flats. Complete to the wide receiver, knocked down at about the 23-yard line. Brandon Taylor on the reception.
Again, we've seen a lot of action from them on the ground. They get in that hurry-up offense, but right now Cochran wants to throw out and finds Taylor there. Nice reception and nice job running the football after the catch, breaking away from 2 tacklers.
Good pursuit by Lovett there. 1st down and 10, and Lovett's going to call timeout here. Earlier we asked Coach Muschamp what was special about this year's football team at Lovett.
This year's team is unique for lots of different reasons, but most importantly because we started out, we had some success last year and we graduated a lot of seniors, and I wasn't really sure that this senior class was going to be able to step up and provide that same kind of leadership, and they've done an outstanding job all year long. Each game has been a progression for us, and we started at a certain level and we've gotten better each week, and that's been a testament to their leadership and the way our kids have accepted the challenges that we.
Excellent comments by Coach Mike Muschamp.
Well, this can be a positive for Lovett right now if they can defensively dig in with 1:04 to play here in the half and keep Dublin from getting in the end zone. It's already a 35-7 ball game.
Cochran in the hurry-up offense. Pumps, fakes, throws. Touchdown, Dublin. Brandon Taylor.
Well, I spoke a little too soon. It would have been nice if Lovett could have kept him out of the end zone. Dublin is just on fire here offensively this afternoon, scoring with lightning quickness.
Unbelievable. Watch Cochran. Pump fake. Now the touchdown toss. Taylor right between two receivers. Excellent fundamental football team. And the kick is blocked. Drew Griggs, which draws a cheer from the left side. 41-7. Dublin. Less than a minute left in the first half. I wish I knew a better word to use other than Dublin's offense and defense on both sides of the ball, Dave, has been relentless.
Oh, it really has. And again, you knew coming in, Dublin was the top scoring team in the AA region. And defensively, they also held their opponents to the least amount of points. So everybody knew what the game plan was as far as what Dublin could do. Excellent player on both sides of the football, and they have shown a dominance here this afternoon. Lovett going to try to get something here with inside of a minute to go. It'd be great for them if they could take just one positive with them into the locker room.
They really need that. Griggs going to kick it off. And deep to receive once more, Andre Hicks. He's standing back at about the 9. Griggs with a driving kick, and Hicks will take it at the 8. Got a block, got a seam, and returns it up to the 44. Now there's a positive. Drew Griggs, the kicker, had to make the stop.
Oh, a nice run back by Hicks, too, just to get it close to midfield. And with 48 seconds, we'll see what their clock management offense is like here. Nice job after the catch. Got it up across as he broke it out to the left side of the field, found a little bit of open space, trying to cut it back inside. Those pursuers on special teams not going to let him get up past the midfield thing. But, you know, they've got to feature Hicks a little bit more in the offense. He's had some success running the football here today, but hasn't had maybe as many carries as some people might expect.
1st and 10 Lovett. Meyer back at the 38. Going to run the little option to Hicks up at about the 49. Little Utah pass, shovel pass. A lot of people called it the Utah pass, shovel pass. It's a very effective play against a well-pursuing defense, much like a screen.
Again, got to get Hicks more involved in the offense. Get him some more touches.
He has proven he is explosive. Ooh. A completion, and it knocked loose back at about the 48. Did they call it a completion or no? Yes, it's a completion, and Dublin gets the ball back. Justin Cyprian on the reception, and Jamon Morris on the hit.
And a hard hit it was, forcing the ball to pop loose, and the white jerseys were there for the recovery.
46-yard line. Cochran sends a man in motion, rolling left, looking to throw, and going to be caught and thrown at about the 43. Brian Stockton on the stop. Gain was about 2. 6 seconds left. And Dublin calls timeout.
Well, for a split second, I thought they were going to look downfield, see if he had an open receiver, and then ran out of time. We'll see what they want to do coming out of the timeout huddle right here. They're already up 41-7.
2nd down and about 7 or 8, and I really think that's academic at this point. This game can also be viewed live on the GPB internet site around the world at www.gpb.org. Just follow the links to connect to the game. Every game will be archived and available later on the GPB website as well. That's www.gpb.org. Here's Cochran in a shotgun formation back at midfield. Pressured, rolling, caught, and thrown. back at the 48 for a loss on the play. Nick Stonecipher with the stop. Well, we have played a half, and Dublin really, Dave, 41-7.
Very dominating first half, Tommy.
Dublin Marching Band is next. We'll be right back at the Georgia Dome. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. We're at halftime, 41-7. Levitt leads. Let's go down to the sidelines to our sideline reporter, Lisa Weiss.
Joining me now is Coach Holmes of Dublin High School, and I know you all have a substantial lead. What do you tell your players at the halftime to keep up this momentum?
Well, I think they got to understand that there's no tomorrow, so you can't back up and let them get back in this football game. Last week we had a 21-0 lead at the half, turned it over the first two series, let them get back in it. You know, if we can come out and control the football on the ground and eat up a lot of clock, I think we'll get a chance to play for a state championship.
Congratulations and good luck to you in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Tommy, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Now here's the Dublin High School Fighting Irish Band under the direction of Lewis Foster, Reginald Ferguson, Assistant Band Director, and James Nuss, Assistant Band Director. The Dublin High School Fighting Irish Band. the Dublin High School Fighting Irish Band. Now let's go down to the sidelines. Lisa Weiss. Lisa.
Joining me now is Lewis Foster, the band director, and talk a little bit about your band. I understand that they've done some great things this year as well.
Absolutely. We're very proud of them. It's a very fine senior class, and they recently won on 2 weekends about 26 trophies and awards for marching competitions, superior ratings, sweepstakes awards, that sort of stuff. Very proud of this band.
Then how did you prepare for this? Did you use some of the stuff that you use in competition over the year, or is this something new that was made up just for the Dome?
Absolutely. This is a show that we basically started working on in July. We changed it from week to week and that sort of thing, but basically this is the competition show that we started preparing in July.
So how do you come up with your ideas? What's your motivation for a show competition-wise?
We listen to a lot of music, listen to a lot of it, and as a staff we sit down and listen and think what suits our band and what our crowd might like, and also what judges might like at competition. So sort of a balance between competition and entertainment.
All right, well, thank you, and good luck with your band for the rest of the year. And Tommy, let's send it back up to you.
Thanks, Lisa. We're at halftime. It's 41 Dublin, 7 Lovelet. We are at the Georgia Dome. This is game 1 of the AA semifinals. Game 2 tomorrow afternoon at 3, Early County, Charlton County. We'll be back after a break. We're back at the Georgia Dome, where it's not good news for Lovett. Great news for Dublin. 41-7. Your score here at halftime. Dave?
Well, just been an outstanding football game. If you're a fan of Dublin, they have just been offensively and defensively dominant. The play of the offensive line has really been dominating. Tommy?
All right, let's go down to the sidelines once more. Here's Lisa Weiss.
Joining me now is Billy Peoples, the headmaster at the Lovett School, and just a few minutes ago everybody was chanting your name in the stands. How exciting is this for the school, for the community, for everyone?
It's been an incredibly exciting week, Lisa, since we found out last Friday night we'd have the chance to come to the Heralded Dome. The whole student body seems to have been smiling all week, particularly broad smiles today in anticipation of coming, and we probably have 80% of our student body here and all of our faculty and hundreds of alumni, parents, former parents. It's a great show of support for our team. It's been a lot of fun. It really has.
I know your school only has about, I believe, 600 students in it, but yet your turnout's incredible. Tell me a little about the generations and generations of players that come here.
We've got 600 folks in the upper school and multiple generations represented, and the next gentleman you're going to talk to is from a previous generation that played football at Lovett. But we've got 3 and 4 generations here represented in our school family and certainly represented here today.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Also joining me is Frank Wilson. Now, Frank, you were a former Lion. You played in the 1970 championship team.
A long time ago in a galaxy far away.
And then your son was also a student here. He graduated in 2000. He was an all-state linebacker. He was also a wrestling state championship. I understand he also went on to go to play at the Air Force.
And
now he's a Marine.
He is executive officer of a company of light armored reconnaissance Marines in Iraq, in Anbar province. Very, very proud of him and all the people that are serving with him over there, serving our nation.
Talk a little bit about that, his decision to go over there and then be there twice.
Well, Frank was an individual who always understood that all the freedoms and the prosperity and the opportunities we have in this country come at a price, and he understood history, and he felt like it was important as a citizen of this nation to serve, and decided to go to the Air Force Academy and then into the Marine Corps, and is privileged to serve this nation wherever they send him.
Do you know when he's expected back home?
The present schedule would be for his battalion to rotate back in mid-April of 2007.
I know he's done a lot of great things throughout his life that have made you proud. Ever in your wildest dreams did you think this is where his life would take him?
No, I actually never did, but I've always been proud of him, and he's always surprised me. He's done everything from sing and dance on the stage to wrestle to serve his nation in the United States Marine Corps, and just always very proud of him, whatever he does.
Thank you so much, and we wish your son the best of luck, and hopefully you'll hear from him by Christmas. Thank you so much. Tommy, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for those great interviews. Dave, let's take a look at the first half highlights here as Dublin leads 41-7 in this AA semifinal.
Well, Tommy, beautiful rollout on the pass. Morris the catch, and then he builds up a whole lot of steam, busts right over the defender into the end zone for the touchdown. Again, beautiful handoff. Powering it right up the middle is Thomas Barnes. This one here going to go to Wilcher. They're featured back. He turns, heads right up, avoids a couple of tacklers and drags one with him into the end zone again. And here's the touchdown for Lovett. Nice run there by Wes Barnwell. It was a 2-yard touchdown run, but Dublin comes right back. Wilcher again going to get the call. Going to head straight up the middle for the touchdown. Nice pump fake on the pass. Throw to the end zone and caught in between two defenders there by Brandon Taylor. And those are the touchdowns there for Dublin.
Here are the stats at halftime. Dublin, of course, leading 41-7. Passing yardage 121-36. The rushing yardage 170-49. Total yards tells the story here at halftime. 291-85. Dublin 41, Lovett 7 at halftime. We'll be back with the second half after we take a break on GPD. All right, let's go down to the sidelines. Here is Lisa Weiss.
Thanks, Tommy. Joining me now is Coach Muschamp. And Coach, what do you tell your players in the locker room at the halftime when you're down by this much?
Well, we basically told them we need to learn from the mistakes that we made in the first half and then do the best we can in the second half to get those corrected and then try and improve upon it. Right now, more than a scoreboard, we're just playing for pride. And I think that's really important to our kids, and I think we're going to come out and do exactly that in the second half.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Tommy, back up to you.
Very nicely said. Dave, you know as good as I do, this is not a pretty situation. If you're a Lovett fan, 41-7, it was probably their worst nightmare to happen. This is a very talented Dublin football team, very talented Lovett team. A couple of turnovers. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, you got the North Side Eagles, another fine football team from the Mid-State, 13-0 against St. Pius Golden Lions. They're 11-2. That's our 6 o'clock game tonight in Class 4A. Then tonight at 9, it's the Marist War Eagles, 12-1 against one of the surprise teams in the Dome, East Paulding Raiders. They finished 3-7 last year. Boy, they have gotten them a new coach, and they have really set the woods on fire here in the last 6 or 7 weeks. East Paulding also coming in at 12-1. That should be another barn burner tonight at 9 o'clock.
Well, again, for Lovett, as Coach Muschamp said, playing for pride right now. Don't worry about the score. Don't worry about points up on the scoreboard. You're down 41-7. You're playing for pride. You want to play the best football you can play coming up here in the third and the fourth quarter and leave the Dome, Tommy, with a positive feeling. You don't want to leave the Dome and end your season on a negative. You want to go out on a positive. Ultimately, if you lose the game, that's enough of a negative. But with what they have done this season, putting together an outstanding season, you want to do the things you've done well on the field for the next 2 quarters in order to get out of the Dome with a nice feeling.
Well, you know, they want to get a positive out of this. They were trailing last week, albeit 7-0 against Bleckley County out at Lakewood Stadium. They came back, fell behind 14-7, came back and won and earned the right to come here to the Dome at 21-14. This is a quality football team. You take away 2 or 3 of the turnovers and the short scoring drives that Dublin did not need to have, and you have a totally different football game. There's nothing nice about a 41-7 score when you're on the 7 end of the score, Dave. You know that.
Well, I'd like to see Lovett, too, use Andre Hicks a little bit more. He's the featured back, a 5'9" junior, rushed for over 1,100 yards. Hasn't really been, he's made some nice plays here in the first half, but not as many as I thought. And I'd like to see he and Meyer try to mix it up. Some of the little passes off to the flats, little, passes through, little handoffs, you know what I'm talking about. Not trick plays, but just try to mix it up and try to knock Dublin defensively off the fact that they know what's coming on almost every play.
Right, the little screen pass, the shovel pass.
Shovel pass.
Right, little hitch passes to wide receivers and stuff. And Lovett's very talented in being able to do that. They certainly have that chance to do that in the second half and make this a respectable score. All right, we're almost set to start the second half. 41-7, quarter 3. Briggs with the kick down at about the 18. Lovett twisting, turning up to about the 24. That's Max Williams on the return there. And Dublin down hurriedly on the coverage.
On special teams, Anthony Thomas, number 50. Good pursuit that time. He got down there early, wrapped him up around the ankles and brought him down, prevented him from picking up any more yardage.
All right, 1st down and 10, Lovett. What they need here now is a good time-consuming drive, burn some clock, get themselves back with a very positive feeling.
Well, they need some good field position.
Yes, they do. Meyer brings him up, wide receiver to the left. Meyer gonna run the little quick trap right up the middle to Higgs, the tailback, or Hicks, the tailback. And the gain is a couple.
Well, it's nice to see Hicks get involved early. I don't know how much success they're going to have running it straight up the middle like that. With the speed that Hicks has, it would seem to me you want to get him to the outside just a little bit, unless your offensive line is able to come up and open up some nice holes. At that point, Hicks becomes very dangerous.
West Coast look now as Meyer still looks at that 4-3. Meyer rolling to throw, going to tuck it and be knocked out of bounds up at about the 30. Jamon Morris on the stop. You can hear that one up here.
Yeah, crunching hit that we heard up here in the booth. But, you know, we've seen Meyer a couple times in that first half. No option downfield, wants to keep that ball. He picked up a number of yards on that play in the first half. He absorbed the hit and now has him in a little bit better field position just outside the 30-yard line.
3rd and about 5. Meyer back at the 24 out of the West Coast look. Meyer going to run it again, and I think he's very close. Yes, he's got a 1st down up at about the 35. Jamon Morris on the stop. So Meyer out of that California look. Watch the block here by 75. Excellent motivation by Meyer. Man, is he taking 2 shots here in the second half already.
Yeah, the marker at the 34, so he knew where he had to get to, and he's had some success running the football. 2 plays here so far to start the 3rd quarter. He picks up the 1st down, keeps the chains moving.
1st down 10. Just outside the 35. Meyer dropping, looking to throw, fakes, and got a man out there up at about the 44-yard line. Brad Kane on the reception. 8-yard gain up at about the 44. Let's take another look at it.
Well, the credit here's got to go to the Lovett offensive line. Look at all the time that they gave Meyer to throw that ball. Had an open receiver, made a nice throw, and they're close to midfield.
Gain of 9. And this is the game plan we talked about. This is what they needed to do, and obviously they've made tremendous adjustments here at the halftime. I formation, several different looks on offense by Lovett here early on. There's the option, and the give is to Hicks on the toss, and Hicks has got the 1st down up at about the 48-yard line. Once again, very busy Jamon Morris. Man, this guy is all over the place on defense.
That time you saw Hicks try to get to the outside on the right side. Morris at the corner came up and had to make the tackle.
Barnes and Morris really make great contributions on both sides of the ball for Dublin. I formation, slot left, 1 wide receiver to the right. Meyer tries to run the quick trap to Hicks across the right side. Very little there. Excellent defense on that left-hand side over there by Tim Wells of Dublin.
Big senior offensive defensive guard there, Wells, who broke through the line. Nice pursue there as he was able to bring the runner down. A little bit kind of dominating there in the defensive line. Nice play there by 63.
Right, loss of just a little real estate. Meyer brings him up now in that shotgun formation. 3 wides. And going to run the screen. Hicks going to break a tackle or 2, but not another, and just barely get back to the line of scrimmage. There was Tim Wells once more, and of course that very familiar name, Jamon Morris. Watch how quickly Dublin closes on the reception. Watch.
Little bit of trouble right there. Nice reception by Hicks. His speed was what he had going for him that time, but still, as you said, struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Lot of white jerseys and gold pants around the ball at every juncture. 3rd and 11 up at the 46. High formation. Meyer looks into that 4-4 defense, dropping straight back to throw. Got a man wide open. Excellent call right down the middle, down at the 36. Ford Kinsey on the reception. Man, Meyer cut that loose. Great throw right down the middle into the teeth of that Dublin defense.
And Kinsey, the senior, nice job. The 6-footer went up, got that football, had to hold on, had his concentration because he knew that there'd be a number of white jerseys around and an impending hit coming. A nice pass thrown right across the middle in between two defenders, and his concentration helped him hold on to that football.
Kinsey with a great reception and an immediate hit. First down, Lovett once more down at the 36. 9 out of 12, 62 yards for Meyer. Tight inside of the field, now the right. Meyer going to run the counter. Got the running back on the corner down to the 24. Barnwell, who had the Lovett touchdown. Excellent call. I'm telling you, Lovett has really changed their entire game plan here at halftime in their approach to handling this Dublin defense.
Getting Hicks a little bit more involved offensively. You see the handoff this time to Barnwell. He had their lone touchdown in the first half, trying to break it outside. They run him out of bounds. They keep the chains moving.
Brandon Edmond on the tackle. I like the use of different formations here. They're not stuck in one formation. Meyer dropping, looking to throw, got time, pumps, fakes, got a man out there, in and out of the hands of Ford Kinsey, down at about the 8-yard line. Had the right play called and had the man open, just overshot him.
Yep, had the right idea. A little bit too much zing on that one, a little bit too high, and he wasn't able to go up and make that catch.
Inside the 25. Lovett has taken the second half kickoff, and they've run clock, and they've gotten yardage. That's what you want to do if you're Lovett here in the second half. Slot left. Meyer. Dublin rolls up now into a 6-man front. Meyer going to check off at the line of scrimmage. Needs to hurry. Generally, that's going to happen when you check off a couple of times. You just don't have time to get everybody in the right place there. 5-yard penalty upcoming here.
Delay of game on the offense. Penalty's 5 yards.
All right, second down and 15.
Penalty aside, though, Tommy, this is the offense that I think a lot of people coming to the Dome today, a lot of the Lovett fans have seen all season. This is the offense they were looking to see in the first half.
Well, you have to have the ball, and Dublin had the ball a great deal in the first half and scored. Meyer faking, throwing, screen. Again intended for Kinsey. Couldn't get out of. I think he was actually trying to slide off of a block. Let's see where he comes from. He's trying to come across the middle.
Well, they gave.
Yeah, it's a tight end screen's what it was.
They gave Meyer some good time, but then Mike Hall, the defensive end, able to break through. Second on the team in tackles and number 1 in sacks. So a very, very dangerous defensive player. Meyer only had so much time and then finally had to let the ball go. And it went incomplete.
Looked like a little grabbing of the jersey, too. Kept Kinsey from getting there when he needed to be. Meyer dropping to throw. Oh, fire drill back at the 36-37 yard line. Boy, they brought everything but the kitchen sink.
A blitz called that time by Dublin, and a lot of white jerseys busting through the Lovett defensive line. Meyer had absolutely no time and then gets sandwiched there on third down. So it's going to bring up fourth down, 4th and 22.
Smith and Josie, the lead culprits there. I think Will Griffith also in there. 4th and long, Dave. No need to punt here. Meyer. Deep snap. Looking, throwing. Overthrows down at about the 5-yard line. Looking for Jameson Sackey. Had him across the middle and just overshot him.
Well, had the right idea. The coverage, though, very good for Dublin, and the receiver not nearly down the field long enough.
All right, let's take a break here. We'll return. We are 6:57 left in the third quarter. Dublin 41 and Lovett 7. We'll be back. Best case scenario, Lovett scores. They didn't, but they did run 5 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. Nice time-consuming drive, Dave.
Well, they had a nice drive. Unfortunately, not able to come away with any points. But again, coming out, getting Hicks involved, nice mixture of the pass and the run, trying to get something going offensively. And now it's time once again for the Lovett defense to dig in.
All right, here's Cochran. Brings him up. Ever familiar Brian Wilcher. First down yardage and more across the 45, up at about the 48 and out of bounds.
Notice who one of the corners there trying to bring him down was. That's Andre Hicks, who we've seen as a feature back quite a bit for Lovett here in this football game. But again, Wilcher gets that ball is so quick that when he gets to the outside, really causes problems, and it ends up being a problem for the corners and the DBs to try to go ahead and bring him down.
You know, the amazing thing is watching this Dublin football team block. They get so many blockers out in front of the running back. You can't find a running back. Like right there, there's 4, but an excellent defensive play. Brian Wilcher on the carry, and Wynn Rollins on the stop. The gain is 4, but they get so many people out in front of the ball carrier, and that is the effectiveness of a sound running game.
Well, they'll tell you again, a lot of games won in the trenches along the lines, and you just can't say enough about the offensive line of Dublin, the job that they have done so far here this afternoon, really throughout the regular season and the playoffs, and just creating holes and creating vacancies there for these backs.
Toss sweep to Wilcher. Corralled at about the 45-yard line. Excellent pursuit that time by Johnny Topping by Lovett.
Lovett a good job pursuing that time. They forced the runners out to the outside portion of the field and then closed the gaps.
Brian Stockton also helping out there. Third down and about 2 now. Nose of the ball just inside the 45 at the 46-yard line. Brian Wilcher, 8 rushes, 80 yards, 1 touchdown, 10 yards per. And he plays defense as well. Cochran rolling to throw. Got Wilcher, and he dropped it at about the 41 or the 42. Had him out there, had the right idea. And there was a lot of green grass up the right sideline.
Just took his eye off it for 1 split second, rolling out, made a perfect pass. He led him, had his hands out there just off his fingertips.
Had the room. Cochran will kick it away here.
Haven't seen this that often today, have we?
No, I don't think we've seen this formation by Dublin, though we have seen many formations by Dublin. They're basically a wing T set, but they run so many variations of the wing T, it's hard to call them a wing T team. Cochran to kick. High kick. And it hit a Lovett player on the leg. And Dublin recovers.
Boy, when it rains, it pours.
It really does.
Well, once again, Dublin catches the break, and they get outstanding field position here with 5:20 to play. Third quarter.
This is amazing. They kick, and on the exchange of possession, they keep the ball. Here we go. Take a look at it. Watch it. Just strikes the leg of a Lovett player, Tommy Moran. Just doing his job, blocking for the return guy. Amazing. Here's Dublin. Give is right up the middle to Thomas Barnes. And Barnes is cracked down as he gets to the 21-yard line. Looked like Andy Head on the stop there.
Andy Head, the anchor of that Lovett defense. Not going to let Barnes break free that time. He tried to cut out to the outside portion of the field on the right side. And Barnes was able to get in there and make the stop. Going to see a number of backs probably as this game goes along, as they have really featured 4 or 5 different backs in this game behind Wilcher. With a big lead and opportunity now.
In motion. Cochran throwing. Got a man wide open. Touchdown. Brandon Edmond. Wide open in the end zone. There's no way you can cover that. They have 3 backs to the right side, and they just run the little crossing patterns down there. Let's take another look. Watch this. Cochran rolling.
And wide open in the end zone. Edmond there to make the catch. The thing about Dublin, that Tommy, they make it look easy.
They really do. And Griggs will kick it up and to kick it good. Dublin 48. Lovett 7. Another one of those short touchdown drives for Dublin, and they have been infamous for that in this game and have been all season long. If you make a mistake, they're going to hurt you.
Well, besides the fact that they've played well here this afternoon on both sides of the ball, they have been the benefactor of just about every break that we've had in this game.
No doubt.
And they've taken advantage of it.
Sure. And that's the sign of a good football team, when you take advantage of the opportunities the other team gives you. And Lovett has had a lot of things go wrong, like the ball striking the leg. And look at there, 2 plays, 23 yards, 24-second scoring drive. Coach's dream. Well, Santa did make it to the Dome. Have you been a good boy this year, Dave?
Depends upon who you talk to.
I think that's pretty much the case with everybody, isn't it? Well, Santa did make it to the Dome to bring some holiday cheer. Hopefully he's on the Lovett side.
Tommy, what we were talking about as far as the beneficiary of the breaks, really in this game it's been all about field position. It seems like every time we turn around, if they have not created it on their own, the turnovers by Lovett have given Dublin just outstanding field position. That's why they've been able to score so quickly when they get the ball.
They do score in a hurry. Griggs with the kick. Williams on the return, fighting his way back to the 25-yard line, where Michael Hall, whose number we've called many times, makes the stop.
Hall, the outstanding defensive end, came into the game second in tackles for this Dublin team with 67. Also led them with 5 sacks. So really just an outstanding defensive player, but also a huge contributor to their special teams unit.
The amazing thing about Dublin, I think, is probably the fact that they have so many players that go both ways. They don't rest them that much. They play offense and they play defense. Obviously, they take 15 great athletes and put them on both sides of the ball,
which allows you to get in and build a rhythm.
Yes, it does. Meyer. Speaking of breaks, interception by Richard Smith, and yet another Dublin touchdown.
And we talk about the breaks. Nice coverage that time by Smith. He went up and got that football. Hopefully we'll see it on the replay, but he went up and got that football, came down and carried that speed, just carried him right into the end zone. Of course, he had great momentum to begin with when he came down with the interception.
It looks as if Dublin is at the right place at every moment. We were just talking about if anybody had gotten a lot of breaks today, it would have been Dublin. They didn't need them, but they got them anyway. They have really turned it up a notch here in the second half. And Griggs with the kick. Up and good. Dublin now leads 55-7. 20-yard interception return for a touchdown. Let's take another look at it.
Well, Meyer will go up. The ball is batted. It comes down and right into the hands of Smith. Just a little bit there. It was almost taken away as well by Ford Kinsey, who was in the direct area. But Smith came down with it. He had a better vision on the ball. Kinsey had his back to the throw, and then all Smith had to do was take it into the end zone.
I guess we could call it the luck of the Irish.
You are correct.
Dublin Irish. Man, have they had a great game today. Still 4:21 to go in the third quarter. Dublin leading 55-7.
Big play there for Richard Smith. Probably one of his big highlights to come into the Dome and make an interception and take it into the end zone.
I think probably if you're a Lovett fan, even in your worst nightmare, you wouldn't expect this to happen. You know, Dublin's, of course, a great football team, But Levin has been a very good football team, 11-2 coming in. Now here's Hicks at the 24, trying to negotiate his way out of trouble at the 27-yard line.
His momentum was stopped. He ran into the back of one of his own teammates, and that kind of stopped him for a split second. And in that split second, special teams for Dublin able to key in on Hicks on the return.
That is true. It's viewers like you that help make great local programs like these high school football games possible on Georgia Public Broadcasting. To show your support, simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and takes just 2 minutes. And thank you for supporting Georgia Public Broadcasting. Meyer gives to Hicks up at the 27-yard line.
Senior linebacker Will Griffith there made that stop. We've seen him on some big tackles here, as he was not going to give Hicks any time to build up any steam or try to jump into one of those holes created by the offensive line. They were right there to make the hit right after he took the football from Meyer.
No gain on the play. Now Meyer brings him up in the shotgun set. Good snap, looking, throwing behind the receiver. Look for Brad Kane up at about the 38-yard line.
Might have been under a little bit of pressure to release that ball. Threw it a second or two too early, and ended up throwing behind a few feet from the intended receiver.
You can see Coach Meskamp on the sidelines talking to Meyer. When he talked to him when he came over to the sideline, saying, just settle down, settle down. You could almost read the hand signals there. I think really what he said at halftime is so appropriate here. They're playing for pride. Flag goes down. Delay of game.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Our referee is Bill Palmer, umpire Landy Ewing, linesman Mitch Palmer, line judge is Bill Ansley, the back judge Will Jones, and our field judge today, Nathan Banks. Northeast Georgia officials, and they've done an excellent job. Meyer. Protection collapses. Jack Whittle from the left-hand side.
Boy, again, those the defenders there for Dublin just not giving Meyer much time at all. It's been a very dominating performance here by Dublin's defensive line.
Yeah, change of possession yet again. Cox will kick it away.
See how quickly they come in on the left side.
That Dublin defense has been a handful. Not that the offense hasn't. That's a good kick by Thomas Cox. Taken by Rashard Smith up at the 41-yard line, and you're back again with field position.
Well, there they are. They spot the ball at the between the 43 and the 44-yard line. As easily and as quickly as Dublin has moved the ball, they've had outstanding field position almost the entire game.
Right. Now we're going to start looking at some new numbers for Dublin, of course, with that 55-7 lead. Brand new quarterback. Rashard Smith will run the squad from here. And he gives to the halfback across the side over there. That's Patrick Horn, the man in motion.
Smith in at quarterback. He's the one that just had the interception return for the touchdown.
Obviously a nice reward for him.
Sure is.
So Cochran has taken all the snaps he needs to take today. Only if Dublin gets into a punting situation, I would assume. Second down and about 7 now. Smith brings him up. Man in motion. Going to get the little counter trap. Inside to Rollins, and Rollins is going to break a tackle, and another, and touchdown, Dublin.
An unbelievable run that time by Andrakius Rollins, the junior running back. Boy, he broke 4 of 5 tackles. Here's a replay. He took the handoff there from Smith. They opened up a nice hole right up the middle. There's one tackle, broke away from one right there. He's got some room, some help there. Broke away from that one, and then one last attempt to bring him down by number 10, Jameson Sackey, not successful, and he's in the end zone.
Amazing. And a new kicker as well. Bryston, Canada, with the extra point, and it's good. Dublin 62, Lovett 7. Here's another look at it. Great blocking up front. One tackle broken. Good block. Another tackle broken there, and yet another. I'm telling you, this has been an amazing display, Dave.
Well, Dublin today, just a very, very enjoyable team to watch. I mean, this has been obviously not if you're down below us on the Lovett side, but if you're a Dublin fan, boy, the muscle and the power that this team has shown, not only on defense, but really on the offensive side of the ball, the ability to move the ball as well as they have, very, very encouraging for this Dublin football team.
Well, the amazing thing about Dublin, and you know, generally some teams have a problem, and you know what that problem is. They're either very soft on defense in certain areas, they're 1 or 2 players short on offense, the kicking game is not there. This is a complete high school football team. Trust me, there are no weaknesses. Griggs will kick it off deep, and Hicks will pick it up at about the 3. And got a block, but only going to get back to the 10-yard line. Good coverage down there. Canyardo O'Neal down on the cover.
Again, you can't say enough about the special teams unit, the way they've played all afternoon for this Dublin football team. That maybe one time the Hicks run back is the only time that Lovett has had decent field position, other than the one here early in the second half. But in that first half, only one time do they have good field position.
Brand new quarterback into the ball game. Will Battle will take over the reins for the Lovett School here as they take over at the 10. Battle takes a snap. Gonna run it to the left-hand side. Gain of about 3.
Not really that much there. Battle decides to keep it himself and try to take it through the middle.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines and Lisa Weiss. Lisa?
Thanks, Tommy. Now, if the last name Battle sounds familiar to you, it should. Will Battle's grandfather is Bill Battle. He was a former head coach at the University of Tennessee. He was there from 1970 to 1976, and he led the Volunteers to 5 bowl games. So Will Battle and his grandfather, Bill Battle. Tommy, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And with a name like Battle, what an appropriate name for a quarterback. And to give to John Stanford. And Stanford trying to turn the corner, but a loss on the play. Fumble. Oh, no.
Dublin
recovers. Oh, my. Trent Barnes on the recovery. Another look at it.
Handoff tried to get to the outside.
There's it pulled loose. Rollins pulls it loose. And the recovery.
Rollins the one that really made the play. And, you know, they teach that, what to do when you're tackling, trying to get in there, jar that ball loose. And he did it perfectly that time. Dublin again. Tommy, outstanding field position.
Smith gives to the wing back at the 9-yard line. Sammy Daniel on the carry. Dublin has put a lot of players in the game here.
Well, obviously, you've put this many points up on the scoreboard. It's going to afford you the opportunity, Coach Holmes, the opportunity to get some of the underclassmen into the ball game, get them some game experience, and give them the excitement of playing the game here in the Georgia Dome.
Rashard Smith hands to the left side to Patrick Horn, the wingback from the right-hand side, and a flag goes down. I won't speculate on what that is, but check it up front.
Yeah, how exciting for the lower classmen to be able to come in and get some playing time in this game.
Well, generally what you get if you are an underclassman and not one of the regular players.
Illegal formation on the offense. Penalty is 5 yards. Replay second down.
Illegal formation. Replay. Generally what you get is a free meal and a bus ride. And a very good seat on the sidelines. Smith dropping to throw. High and above the hands of the intended receiver, Kelsey Fordham. Fordham at the wide receiver position. Rashard Smith, obviously the heir apparent when Cochran graduates at quarterback.
Getting some valuable game experience as the signal caller here in the second half.
Sophomore. Here's Dublin now down at the 15-yard line as Patrick Horn on the carry. Going to bring up fourth. That's the end of the third quarter. Dublin 62, Lovett 7 back at the Dome after this. Back at the Georgia Dome where Dublin leads Lovett by a score of 62-7. And it hasn't just been one of those games. It's been one of those games.
Well, I don't know how many times we can touch on the fact that Dublin has just been so dominating, and they've also taken advantage of every break that's come their way regarding turnovers.
Griggs to attempt a field goal here. The kick is up and the kick is good. 33-yarder, I would say. 65-7.
Well, again, you're at a point in the game now where both coaches are going to put some of the underclassmen in the ball game. As we said, try to get them some experience. Still a whole lot of time to go. 11:55. So some things that can be worked on. Again, if you love it, we've said it before, you want to try to go out of here having done something on the positive side, and you want to stay away from the turnovers, and let's see if they can get something going with their offense.
All right, Dublin going to kick it off. Drew Griggs will kick it away. Let's see who goes back now for Lovett. Max Williams is deep. Andre Hicks also back there. There's another number back there too. I think that's Taylor Mack. Might be over on this corner over here.
I would imagine you'd want to keep it away from Hicks. He's the one that's had a little bit of success on runbacks.
No run back here as Hicks catches it in the end zone.
As well as Dublin's special teams has played, that was a wise decision.
Yes, very definitely. At the 20, they will begin now. Lovett. All right, let's see if Battle comes back in at quarterback, or if they come back with Meyer. Do we have another one yet? There comes Battle back at quarterback. Yes. Will Battle comes in at the quarterback slot. And a lot of new numbers all across there. West Coast look. Battle gives right up the middle to Paul Hunt. And Hunt comes up near the 20, the original line of scrimmage, trying to run the inside trap, and that's going to be a little difficult.
I think he got right back to the line of scrimmage, tried to go in behind the right tackle, right guard, see if they could open up the gap there to pick up some yardage. And He was lucky just to get back to the line of scrimmage right there at the 20.
2nd down and 10. I formation. Battle looking over that 4-man front. Going to run the counter to the left-hand side, and the give is to Paul Hunt, who's knocked out of bounds up at about the 28-yard line. Curtis Bird on the stop. Also some help over there from Eddie Vickers.
Running out on the left side, trying to see if they can get it to the outside part of the field and open up some yardage there, open up some real estate. Not able to really push it out as far as they would like.
3rd and about 2.5. And Dublin's going to jump offside.
Yep, movement on the line. Actually, it was a nice pickup on that last run.
Right.
The run before that.
And obviously a good cadence change there by Battle to quarterback. Dublin jumps offside. 5-yard penalty.
Prior to the snap, defense encroachment, 5 yards.
1st down 10 now for Lovett up at the 32-yard line. They're using the running clock, I understand. Battle. I formation. Gives to the tailback right up the middle across the 37 or the 38. Paul Hunt with some good yardage. And Hunt has come in the ball game here and given a real good account of himself on a couple of 3 good runs here.
Well, he really has. And again, credit the left side of the line. They've done a good job getting off the ball, opening up some lanes, opening up some gaps in there. And Hunt's done a good job coming in the ball game, and he's able to take advantage of what that line's been opening up for him.
Gain of 9 on the play. Battle brings him up yet again. 2 wide receivers in an I formation. Looks into a 4-4-3 defense. Going to run the quarterback sneak and be very close to the 1st down. Kenyardo O'Neal on the stop for the Dublin Irish.
Looked to be successful from our vantage point up here in the TV booth.
It is a 1st down.
So Battle's come in as having some success keeping the chains moving.
And the clock moving. 1st down and 10. Lovett Lions. West Coast set. 3 wide outs. Dublin still in that 4-4. Going to run the draw. Not much there. Paul Hunt on the carry.
I was going to say, didn't fool the Dublin defensive line that time. They were right there to make the stop.
Not at all. Miles Allen and Grant Hinkst on the stop. Another look at it. Right up the middle. Very little there. Very aggressive Dublin defense. Battle back at the 35. Checking off now. Changing the play. Snap's going to fake it and fumble it and fall on it up at the 41-yard line. If he maintains possession, he has a lot of real estate in front of him.
He really does, but at that point you lose that football. You know you got some white jerseys going to be looking to recover. All you've got to focus on is getting on top of that football. He had the right idea, trying to break free. Ball knocked out of his hand, and he did a great job following the ball, diving on top, and keeping Dublin from recovering, and again having good field position.
Quentin Carter on the strip there. Battle gets him to jump offside yet again. As big number 71 jumps offside for Dublin. 5-yard penalty upcoming once again.
Prior to the snap, defensive encroachment, 5 yards.
3rd down and about 6.5 now.
So with the running clock, time running out obviously on Lovett, but see if they can put together a nice long sustained drive here in this final quarter.
Battle barks his signals. Gonna fake and run left side, twisting and turning, and he's very close to the 1st down. Good effort by young Mr. Battle.
Well, he spun. Did you see those 2 spin moves he made?
Yes, I did. He looked like a single wing tailback there, didn't he?
Yep, and they pick up the 1st down. So again, they keep those chains moving. as the clock continues to run now, Tommy, under 6 minutes.
All right, first down and 10. Leavitt down at 48-yard line. Battle getting the instructions from Coach Muskemp on the sideline. The give is right up the middle. Paul Hunt, I believe, on the carry. Is that 16 or 18? Let's check that. Paul Hunt on the carry.
That'd be number 16.
Very little gain.
Yeah, Leavitt has not had that much success, no matter which defensive line, starting with the backups have been out there running straight ahead into the Dublin line.
Not very much there north and south against Dublin.
No,
and
been,
very little on the corners, to be quite honest.
Yeah, they've been dominating on the defensive side today.
All right, Battle barks his signals. Now going to run the sprint draw, and that, of course, is not there. Quick pursuit to Paul Hunt on the sprint draw. Evan Melton on the stop for Dublin. Smelled that one out right away. 3rd and long.
Another one of the Dublin sophomores getting some playing time here in the 4th quarter.
They won't forget this. This will be one of those memorable occasions, getting to play as a sophomore. The underclassmen, I formation. Young Battle, good fake, looking to throw, throws the screen, complete. Got somebody out there, first down yardage and more. Taylor Mack goes all the way down to the 28-yard line. Excellent call and excellent execution, I might say, by the Leavitt School.
Boy, Mack, the 5'7" freshman, the quarterback Battle in a little bit of trouble. You know, he's got some defenders coming his way. Nice pass out on the wing there, and then Mack just turns and made a nice run back up. He's got them in some pretty good field position right now at the 29-yard line.
Excellent middle screen there. The way he just kind of slid out of the middle, fell open over there. And an excellent delivery by Battle. Checking off at the line of scrimmage, changing the play. Slot right. And gives to Taylor Mack once more. Very little there. I'm not sure there was a gain on that one. Dublin running in a lot of players defensively over there. Gain was just under a yard. Battle has them huddled right up on top of the ball. Directing traffic, tight inside of the field to the left. Barking signals, rolling, looking to throw. Got a man out there, overshoots him down at about the 5-yard line. Michael Steele, the intended receiver.
Boy, dangerous throw, too. Threw into double coverage as Dublin had everybody covered downfield. And for Leavitt, they're just lucky it wasn't picked off. Of course, the pass sailed a little high anyway.
Yeah, but Battle was delivering it right down there. Let's take another look. Yeah, had a little arc in it there. Ooh. The receiver will go back and say, can you bring that down just a little bit? There's 2 back there. Leavitt down at the 28-yard line. 3rd and long. Battle, good protection, looking, throwing, double coverage again, intercepted. And up the far sideline, breaking tackles, look out. Blockers in front and out of bounds at about the 19. Jerome Sims, a freshman defensive back, with a very memorable interception and return. And Dublin's back down there knocking on the door again.
But what did we say on that pass that sailed a little high on the previous play? You threw into double coverage. Threw into double coverage on that play.
Exactly. Cannot do that.
And Dublin took advantage of it.
as they have all afternoon.
Yes.
But you're bound to see that, too. You get a lot of freshmen on the field.
Yeah. They're going to play like freshmen and sophomores. Rashard Smith. Back at about the 22. As the clock runs down. And Dublin will advance to play the winner of Early County, Charlton County. That game will be coming up tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock here on GPB.
You and I are doing that game.
I'm looking forward to it. Smith on what could be the final play of the game. There's a flag. Won't be the final play of the game. Yes, that's the final play of the game. Running clock.
You and I talked about how this one could potentially be a high-scoring affair, a lot of points. We just didn't realize, obviously, until the game was played, that it would be.
Snap infraction on the offense, 5 yards, still second down.
We didn't realize it would primarily be on one side.
Right. I think we both were expecting a much closer game. And Dublin is really going to feel good about this offensive output. 65 points. And the defense really set the table for them many times. And the knee down, and the game is over. This one's in the history books, and it's one that many will remember. Dublin 65. Lovett 7.
Tommy, just a dominating performance. We've talked about it the entire broadcast. Offensively and defensively, Dublin operating at will. A lot of speed in those running backs. A whole stable of backs did a lot of the damage here today. And defensively, boy, they just clamped down and really, except for 1 or 2 occasions, didn't allow Lovett to get into any sort of rhythm offensively in this football game. And they never really had, except for 1 or 2 occasions, good field position.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines to Lisa Weiss.
Joining me now is DuBose Porter, state representative, and how exciting is this for you?
This is great for us, great for Dublin and Lawrence County. It's wonderful. This is Gene Nesbitt, who has his rally hat on, who's the principal.
Absolutely.
Elaine Connell, our school superintendent for Dublin. It's a great day for the Irish.
It
is a wonderful day for the Dublin Irish, and we're so excited to go to state. And we're going to win all the way, and we appreciate our community for supporting us. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you all at the championship game. Tommy, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Congratulations, Dublin. 65-7, your final score. Dublin over Lovett. We'll be back at the Georgia Dome after this. Back at the Georgia Dome. Welcome back, where Dublin wins over Lovett 65-7. Let's go down to Lisa with the winning coach.
Joining me now is a very happy Coach Holmes. I know your motto all season has been to finish. How proud of these players are you?
Well, they bounced out there today and we're ready to go. There's no question about it. You know, I'm extremely pleased of all phases today. I think we didn't do as good a job in our kickoff coverage as we needed, but overall we played great. A good Lovett team. Told our guys if we could establish the edge, if we could get on the edge, then we could have a great day. But, you know, this football team has bounced back from a lot of things. They had a tough loss last year. We were a good football team, and they've got something they want to try to prove, and I'm very proud of them. And one of the things I told those guys at halftime in there tonight, I think I'd looked at it. We needed 51 points going into this game to break the state of Georgia all-time record for points scored in one season. Last year they broke it in the regular season with 549. This year they broke the all-time record, so I'm proud of them for that.
Well, congratulations, Coach. Good luck at the state championship game. And Tommy, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, folks, for being with us. Dave, thank you. We'll see you again later. Final score, Dublin 65, Lovett 7.
Funding for this broadcast of the 2006 Georgia High School Association's football semifinals has been provided in part by Georgia Electric Membership Corporation.
1, 2, 3.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW Local 613, Atlanta. Wachovia. The Georgia Student Finance Commission. By viewers like you. And the Georgia High School Association, who wish to thank the Georgia Dodge dealers, State Farm, and Verizon Wireless for their support of high school sports programming on GPB.